Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, parents, students. Thank you very much for joining us, guardians as well. My name is Maria Alvarez. I am the 9th and 10th grade academic advisor. One of my main goals as an academic advisor for 9th and 10th graders is to help our students to transition to high school smoothly. This year is particularly different and maybe more challenging because we're not only transitioning from middle school to high school, but also, as you know, from distance learning to learning in the classroom. So I really want to thank you for being with us here tonight. Mr. Bencomo is in charge of moving my PowerPoints. So maybe next one, Mr. Bencomo.
Just one thing really quick, Ms. Alvarez. Parents, students, guardians, if you could please make sure to either at least have your student join, or parents, if you want to join the Edmodo codes that are up there. These are extremely important. I post a lot of information about searching for colleges, scholarships, all of that good stuff in terms of what's going to happen after high school. I've already posted a lot of information on this page already for this school year. So if you could please just have your student join. If you want to join as a parent, by all means, you're welcome to join as well. We want to make sure that you get all the information as soon as I post it. So the best way to do that would be through these Edmodo pages. And they're specific for class. So the 9th graders, you would join the class of 2025 group. For the sophomores, you would join the class of 2024 group.
Thank you, Mr. Bencomo. At St. Genevieve High School, our goal for today specifically is to help you as parents and the students figure out how to adjust to the increased demands of high school. New classmates, new schedules, new courses and teachers and challenges, certainly higher academic expectations. But more than ever before, we need you. We need you to form this partnership. We need your support at home to support us. So we will walk together this journey. Together, everyone achieves more. We strongly believe at St. Genevieve that this is a team effort. Next one, Mr. Bencomo, thank you. Learning objectives for today, from my part, will be organization and time management, using a planner correctly, study strategies, some syllabus, homework, Edmodo and contacting teachers, academic success, honor roll, honors and AP courses, and extracurricular activities, which Mr. Bencomo will be covering, in his portion for college application. Next will be, this is a typical high school, unfortunately. 6 classes and 6 different homework assignments and plus tests and projects, sports, events, school activities, friends, family, and who knows how many more things, right? So what else? What else can they do to be successful? 2 main, very, very, very important things: organization and certainly time management. And that's when we need you at home. The next one, Mr. Bencomo, please. The first part, the first portion, the first very important piece of information I want to share with you is the sgps.org, okay? Here you will find a lot of information. And of course, every time you will click on middle school and high school, the first part is the school calendar. So when you go to sgps.org and you click on calendar, you will see, next slide, Mr. Bencomo, please. You will see this. Okay, this. If you click on each day to expand for more information, for example, for next week, Thursday the 16th, we have an afternoon, evening day of school. This will help you as parents and guardians to organize your schedule according to the schedule that school has for that day. In this case, the pre-bell will not be at 8:20, it will be at 12:40 p.m. Then we will have announcements from 12:50 to 1. Then period 2 will start at 1 p.m. Then students, we will have a nutrition period for 15 minutes. Period 4 will start at 2:40 p.m. Then we will have a break for dinner. Then period 6 will start at 4:50. And then at 6:10, students dismissed from period 6 to the gym. From 6:30 to 8 p.m., there will be an event, and hopefully you will be joining us. Student dismissal will be at 8. So one more time, parents, we will really appreciate if you get familiar with this schedule, the daily schedule of the school. So if we need to make some changes, you will be fully aware of what's happening every single day of the week. The other piece of information on sgps.org, which is the next slide. If you go and click on community, sgps.org on community, this is what you see. It will open up this high school resources, very, very important pieces of information. You will find the ARIES portal, online grades, emergency card, Edmodo, online bookstore, parent and student handbook, faculty and staff, facts about tuition payments, school calendar. There, specifically there, I included this slide here because there will be a tutorial for both ARIES and Edmodo. ARIES is our online grades, and Edmodo is similar to Facebook, but for educational purposes. These two tutorials will guide you how to access the grades of your student and also how to access the Edmodo page of each class, of each teacher. And the Edmodo page will offer you a lot of information in regards to upcoming quizzes and tests, projects, reading materials. Some teachers, sometimes they have quizzes on Edmodo for students to submit. And certainly this year, because we are very much technological school, the syllabus of each class, you might be able to find on Edmodo. On the next slide, this is ARIES, student online grades with ARIES. New parents that have supplied an email address when you register your student, you have already received an email from ARIES with a username and password to create an account. Please check your junk or spam mail just in case. And then ARIES will give you a step-by-step procedure on how to create and how to access your students' grades. On the tutorial, it will also tell you how to access ARIES 24/7. And this is a very important piece of information. This is a wonderful tool because you will be aware of what's happening in the classroom and not what just your student is telling you. This afternoon, actually, I met with a parent. The student was really positive about grades, and the mom was not really certain. So when we checked grades today, mom was a little bit surprised. And so I think the student and the mom are going to have a serious conversation today after school. But this is because she was able to access ARIES, and she is now fully aware of what's happening in each of the classes with the student. On the next slide, this is what you will see when you access ARIES. And this is school year, very, very recent. For example, we have a wonderful biology grade with an A-, 91%, 0 missing assignments. But unfortunately, in religion, we have already 3 missing assignments, and there's already an F. The same is happening in English, 4 missing assignments. This student already has an F. And unfortunately, in dance, there are 3 missing assignments. Again, the student is already having an F. So this type of information as a parent, I think, and I hope you will find this very, very helpful. And maybe it is time for you as a parent to intervene, to talk to your student and to review each of the classes and each of the grades and maybe find out what's happening. Are you having some type of difficulties? Are you turning assignments on time? Do you need tutoring? So we will cover all that, all those tools to help you and mainly your student to have a successful year. On the next slide, this is what you will see. As you know, the red mark is not good news. The red mark is already missing. And Ms. Schreck is very precise with the comment that sometimes she writes. For example, on assignment number 5, syllabus quiz, 0, absent, but no note. Maybe that means that the student was absent, but was not an excused absence. So you may want to contact the teacher to find out what can the student do in order to turn all those assignments So hopefully the 10.41% F, which is a very, very low F, could improve to a better and passing grade. On the other scenario right there in English, that's Ms. Marquis in English, you see that the student has done a very good job, 100%, 83 and 93%, 80%, but then only one assignment, only one missing assignment for 10 points is giving this student the B-. So as you can see, missing assignments do have a tremendous impact on the final grade of each class. On the next slide, Edmodo. So this is Edmodo. If you have Facebook, Edmodo is pretty much the same concept behind Edmodo. It's a resource for teachers as well as for students and parents. It's similar to Facebook, but it provides more security since the group members are approved only by the teacher. In addition, students post questions and communicate with teacher and with each other in a safe environment. But teachers do not post grades on Edmodo. Teachers post grades only through ARIES. Some teachers have told me that I post all homework assignments for my courses on Edmodo. All the students at St. Genevieve High School are required to have an account with the website. Each student has a code, but also parents, you can also request a code and you need to contact the teacher to request this code. Again, teachers post daily homework assignments and reminders. And in some classes, the students can even turn assignments through Edmodo. Some teachers, especially I know Mr. Torres does for the religion classes, he posts a lot of information in regards to study guides for religion quizzes and tests. The same goes with Mr. Dinka. And also sometimes students get feedback regarding assignments or answers questions. So please, parents, if you don't have the Edmodo code for any of the classes or for some of the classes, contact your student's teacher and they will be happy to give you an Edmodo code so you can visit this very, very helpful resource that we have for you as parents and of course for our students. On the next slide, for example, Mr. Bencomo has the counseling department Edmodo page, and he already mentioned class of 2025, the Edmodo code is there. In class of 2024, the Edmodo code is there. For example, for today's meeting, Mr. Bencomo posted this since last week, this information for the Google Forms, and he posted, you must RSVP for the event to receive the Zoom link. In addition, I visited every single class yesterday, and today to remind students to please invite you to this presentation because Mr. Bencomo and I, the counseling department, we really think that you as parents need to get an overall idea of what we can do in order to support your student and you as parent, and also to form this partnership with you at home. On the next slide. This is organization, as I mentioned at the beginning. Organized students are certainly successful students. This is a typical calendar, typical schedule of one of your students. Spanish 1, then biology, English, concert choir, algebra, sacred scriptures, and we have a rotating schedule. So if Monday was an even day, an odd day, sorry, students will have periods 1, 3, 5, 7, probably in each class that you already receive an assignment. Then on Tuesday will be an even day for periods 2, 4, 6, 8, and probably the student already receive an assignment in each class. So in 2 days, students receive probably 6 or 7 assignments, sometimes more. So having access to all these resources, including Edmodo, I think is going to help you tremendously monitor the students and the student progress as well. On the next slide, I would like to talk about, these are examples that I have collected throughout the years from students who have been successful. Some students, some of these comments, they are all in quotations, within quotations, because this is what they have told me when they were juniors or seniors. Use a homework planner. Do not rely on Edmodo all the time. And look at this, teachers have lives outside of the school and sometimes they forget. So they understand that we are also human. Organize your locker. Always go to tutoring to make sure you understand the lesson. It benefits you and shows the teacher that you are a hardworking student. By the way, speaking of tutoring, all of our teachers offer tutoring for free before school or after school. It's just a matter of your student to approach the teacher, even though both of the teachers have included their tutoring hours in their syllabus. Again, the same recommendation from another student, go to tutoring, use a homework planner. And this is very important. As a freshman, what really helped me keep my grades up was using a homework planner daily and constantly checking areas. Then again, the same recommendation, get a homework planner. What I've noticed in the past 3 weeks is the following. I visited several classes, especially religion and English. Ms. Marquis, the English teacher, is helping me, reminding students to get a homework planner and bring to her class and to every class every single day. But some students, they do have a homework planner, but they forget it in their lockers. So they come with nothing to write on or to copy the assignment or the due date. So please encourage your student to get a homework planner with dates and days of the week and bring it to the classroom and copy the due dates of the assignments that they are responsible for. On the next slide, very simple steps to using a daily planner. Write down, check off, include date, assign and due dates, check off assignments as you complete them, and establish daily goals and weekly goals. On the next one, this is from many years ago. That's a homework planner from one of our students who graduated from Berkeley, UC Berkeley. So when I asked her to please share with me a photocopy of her homework planner, I asked her, why do you have different colors, color coding? And this is what she told me. She said, Ms. Alvarez, the green ones mean that they are super easy. I can do it like in a blink of an eye, in 5, 10, 20 minutes max. The purple one is I need more time. I need to focus more on this assignment. And the red one, of course, are the ones that I need help with my teacher, with another friend or classmate. And those are the ones that are going to require a lot of my time and commitment. Like, for example, a test or a project. So I found that this very interesting because this student was very successful throughout high school. And of course, in college, she's already almost finished with her master's degree. So hopefully this will give you an idea of how important organization and using a homework planner on a daily basis is, especially with so many classes and assignments and responsibilities. Next one, Mr. Bencomo, please. Okay, this is another story of mine. The first one, the blue one, is very wonderful locker, well organized. And the second one is a picture of, again, many years ago. And you cannot believe what I found there. Homework assignments from months and months ago. And so hopefully I mentioned to the students that they need to be organized. They need to have a a locker that looks pretty much like the blue one. I had a similar presentation the first day of school with freshmen, and they all agreed that this messy locker at the bottom is not the one that they want to use. So hopefully also with your encouragement at home, we will see great results with this locker, and they will be finding what they need to find in a timely manner and not just, papers and books. Next one, Mr. Bencomo, please. Time management. Many of our students are student athletes, or they are part of a band or choir. So time management is critical. Mr. Bencomo is one of our football coaches, and I know that the students have, they start practice at 4 o'clock, but between 3 and 4, they have a study hall period within the football team. Is that right, Mr. Bencomo?
Yeah, most days.
Okay, most of days they have that. So every minute counts. Students should, especially student athletes who have so many things on their plates, they need to use every single opportunity they have in order to focus on their academics. To make a to-do list, prioritize your weekly schedule as a student, list the exact due dates. And I would like to emphasize about due dates because you will see, maybe you already know if you read the syllabus of the teachers, teachers do not accept late work. And if they do, they will not accept it for full credit. Students will receive only 50% of the credit, meaning they will turn the assignment for 50% of the credit, which is already an F, but 50% is better than a 0. So making sure that your student has a system, not every system works for everybody, but I think the student, with your help, will develop a system that will work for him or for her, and they will use that system throughout high school. Next one, Mr. Bencomo. There it is, the information. This is a summary of the information that probably you have already read and signed, because every single teacher requested students and parents to please review and read the syllabus and send it back with your students signed by you. So the homework policy, it is right there. It is up to the students to make sure that homework is done by the due date. Homework is to be turned in at the beginning of class. Email assignments will not be accepted according to some teachers. Any homework turned in after will only be considered for up to 50% of the credit. Late work policy, late work must be submitted during the same week of the original due date, even if it is due on Friday. So all that information, if you must be absent, remember that you are responsible, meaning the student is responsible for finding out what you missed and for getting the work made up. You're also responsible for arranging to make up any quizzes or tests. So we are transferring the responsibility to the students. So we need them to become more and more aware of what they need to do in order to be successful in the class. If you have not read or if you have not received the syllabus of any class or any teacher, please contact the teacher and request this very document, because it will tell you what the expectations are. So there are no surprises at the end of the semester or when you receive the first progress report, probably in October. Teachers are also requiring parents to please sign the syllabus, so letting us know that you have received and reviewed and read what the expectations are. One thing important, I just confirmed this afternoon with the English department chair. The English department will not be giving any extra credit. So that's a piece of information that the students and parents, especially students, need to be aware of. Another piece of information, some teachers will be telling you that they will be having almost daily reading quizzes, and that's pretty much for the English classes. And I want to remind students that failing grades could be a result of missing and or late work. Thank you, Mr. Bencomo. Next one, please. This is a copy of the syllabus from Mrs. Schreck. So this is on Edmodo. You just need to click on the Sacred Scripture and Christology syllabus, and she will ask you who you are and who the student is. Fill out some information about parent, email of the parent, and then you will have access to the syllabus, and there's a way for you to sign. But again, the syllabus has a lot of information. So hopefully each one of you have received this, have read this, and have discussed the syllabus of each class with your students, so everyone is aware of what the requirements are. Thank you, Mr. Bencomo. Next one, please. This is an example that I wanted to include, because if you need to contact the teacher of your student, what we use at St. Genevieve High School, St. Genevieve actually parish schools, is the last name of the teacher. For example, for English, Ms. Markey teaches all levels of English, English General, English College Prep, English Honors, which is English Academy, is her last name, markey@sgps.org. For math is Mr. Van. For religion is Ms. Schreck. For biology is Mr. Gonzalez. For drama and dance is Ms. Brown. And for Spanish is Mr. Torres. So if you have any questions or concerns, you just need to contact the teacher, the last name of the teacher, at sgps.org. And I included a couple of examples of some of the communications that the teacher has had in the past with a parent. So the teacher in the first one is informing about what's happening in the class. The student did not turn in vocabulary homework that was due today, can turn by Friday for half credit, already letting the teacher, the parent and the student know. The other one is the algebra teacher, again, letting parent know that the student is already earning a D, 61%. So even though it's the beginning of the school year, we need to start making some changes in order to avoid the surprises. But also, the teacher in the second example is indicating that the student knows that she has until Monday to turn in this particular assignment only for half credit. So this is kind of what the teacher are using. Late assignments are only for half credit. Thank you, Mr. Bencomo. Next one, please. This is another example of a student, which I encourage every student to do. If a student is sick, and we don't know who is going to get sick, but hopefully the student will be able, if it's not feeling that sick, that bad, to communicate with the teacher from a student A to all teachers, subject missing at school. Good morning, teachers. I wanted to inform you that today I'm going to be absent because I am ill. I wanted to ask about what I will be missing today from class and the homework for today. Thank you for your time and cooperation. And this was actually from a freshman student from years ago. So again, communication is very, very important, especially nowadays that we don't know who is going to get sick. With God's blessing, none of us will get sick, but just this is a way to inform teachers what is happening and what the student can do if he or she is strong enough to do some of the academic work. Thank you, Mr. Bencomo. Okay, so I am trying my best. I have my homework planner. I don't know what else to do. Instead of going to friends, please encourage your student. And I always tell them the same thing. Your teacher is always the best place to start. The teacher knows what the student is lacking or what type of support the student needs. Make an appointment. Students, please make an appointment through email or face-to-face with your teacher and explain what the difficulty is. I didn't understand this problem in math, Mr. Van. I don't know how to finish my biology project, Mr. Gonzalez. Ms. Markey, what did you talk about this morning? I didn't get how to finish the English project. So please encourage your student to always reach out to the teacher, make an appointment, meet with the teacher. And of course, as I said at the beginning of this presentation, all of our wonderful, hardworking and committed teachers offer tutoring before or after school for free. It's just a matter of the student reaching out to the teacher, approaching the teacher and requesting that support, and the teacher will be happy to support your student. Of course, be in class on time every day, bring the materials, and turn in every homework assignment on time. I would really like our students to start setting short and long-term goals. Why? Because it's kind of giving them a big picture. So for example, an example of a short-term goal will be, I will study this weekend for my next biology test and I will get an A. Okay, that's my goal. If the student doesn't get an A, gets a B plus, awesome, great. If the student, even though studied really, really hard and got a C, okay, what about if I meet with my teacher as my short-term goal number 2? I will meet with my teacher, and I always encourage students, meet with the teacher and find out what is it I miss in my biology exam, Mr. Gonzalez. Mr. Van, what did I miss? I am not sure if the problem that you show me how to solve, I follow all the steps. And then maybe a long-term goal will be, I will end the semester with 4 A's and 2 B's and a 3.5 GPA. Awesome, a dream come true for you as parents and certainly for us as counselors, right? So maybe encourage your student one day at a time, short-term goals, long-term goals, and we will work together this journey. Next one, Mr. Bencomo, please. And this is what you will see at the 10-week marking period in October. I highlighted some of the comments that our teachers provide, and I always encourage teachers and students and parents to read the comments of the teachers. For example, in the first one, biology honors from years ago, I am proud of your child achievement. You might see a C there, but you can see that a student had 2 F's before. So ending up the marking period with a C is something to celebrate. And then on the other side, you see a lot of A's, 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 A's. And of course, the teacher are telling the parent and the student and myself as a counselor, I am proud of your child's achievement. Displays an excellent attitude towards learning, demonstrates through knowledge of skills. So these are the type of comments that we all want to read. But sometimes we read the other ones, like missing assignments affecting grade. Maybe a conversation with a student is needed there. Did not participate in service hours, low test score affecting grade. So maybe again, what's happening? Is that, are you understanding? Are you understanding English? Are you understanding math? Have you gone for tutoring? So hopefully with all these type of resources and information, we will be able to help your student have a successful transition from middle school, and hopefully in December, we will see a lot of A's and a lot of wonderful, wonderful, wonderful comments from teachers. Another piece of information that I highlighted is that one, attendance is affecting grade. So when students miss class, I always recommend parents to communicate with the teacher and immediately kind of request tutoring for the student to be able to catch up. If it's only 1 day absence, that's okay. The student will do it on his or her own. But if it's more than 2 days, then we're missing a lot of instructional time. And I highly recommend parents and students to communicate with the teachers in regards to tutoring opportunities. Thank you, Mr. Bencomo. Next one, please. Okay, so students, please, I mentioned this to you before, and hopefully this is also something you will be paying attention. Summer school and academic dismissal. In elementary middle school, when students earn in 6th grade an F, they will still promoted to the next grade level. 7th grade, couple of Fs, still promoted to the next grade level. In high school, we can't, because every class counts, and they have to earn credits, graduation credits. In order to attend Genevieve High School, in order to get a high school diploma, students need to earn 275 credits. Any student who earns, fails a class, and that includes religion, will need to go to summer school. The students who fail a class during the academic school year are encouraged to make up the failing grade. Failure to do so may result in the student being asked to withdraw. It is the student and parents' responsibility to make up grades failed classes. Any classes students enroll must be UC and CSU approved courses to receive credits from St. Genevieve. That means if students enroll, for example, in a tutoring place, we will not be able to give any credits. They have to attend a UC CSU approved course in order for us to give credit for that remediated class. Academic dismissal. A student with 3 or more failing grades, or a student who receives 3 semester Fs during the school year, may be asked to leave the school. Any student who has incurred 1 or more Fs in a semester and fails to make up the credit in summer school may not return for the following school year. A student below a 2.0 academic GPA for 2 consecutive semesters may be asked to withdraw. All this information is on the parent and student handbook for parents and students to review. So I am including this piece of information for you, and mainly for students, to understand the big and main difference between middle school and high school. Any Fs at the semester will require students to attend summer school. And every time I ask students, do you guys want to go to summer school? And of course, the answer is no, never. Exactly. So this is the time that you need to work in order to avoid that summer school. Next, Mr. Bencomo, please. This is another example for our students to look at. This is a transcript. Mr. Bencomo will cover this more in depth later on. But this is a student who, as you can see, got an F first semester in English and did not earn any credits. He earned 5 credits in religion, 5 credits in algebra, 5 credits in biology. But since the student earned an F in English, earned 0 credits. The other class that she failed was health, and the student had to repeat the class, retake the class here with us, the health class. But that student had to attend summer school in order to remediate the F in English. So this is the credit summary that I was talking about. In order to graduate from St. Genevieve High School, students need to earn 275 credits. When they fail a class, including religion, students lack credits for graduation. And that's why we require students to remediate those classes over the summer. So this is the big difference between middle school and high school. So hopefully students are paying attention to this. We will cover this more in depth when we meet with them, Mr. Bencomo and I, in the next 2-3 weeks. But this is just a big picture information in regards to why it's so important for students to understand the big difference between middle school and high school. Credits are needed in order to graduate, in order to get a high school diploma. Next one, Mr. Bencomo, please. Okay, as I said at the beginning, parental involvement, team, together everyone achieves more. Please, parents, one more time, we need you to become our partners. Visit the school and its website. On the school website, you can find a lot of information. The school calendar, contacting staff, special events, weekly newsletter, ARIES and EDIDO, and much more. During the high school years, grades and homework gets more and more complicated and intense, and it is more challenging. Your students are going to be sharing that information with you. Grades become really important for college plans. They are super important. Students should have a quiet place, distraction-free, hopefully, no phone, TV, tablets, unless they are homework-related resources. And please make sure and be sure that you check with your student from time to time to make sure that they are really working on the English project and not just texting with friends. If grades are good, which I hope all of those are good, your son and daughter may not need to much help studying. But if you notice that grades after checking ARIES are beginning to slip, you need to step in, please. Most parents still need to help their teen, their student with organization and studying. Please don't think that because they are in high school, they just do not need your help. As I said at the beginning, this is not just a transition period from middle school to high school. It's from that and also from distance learning to learning in person. So this is a big step, especially this school year. One more time, parents, check grades at least once a week through ARIES. I am not a big fan of video games. I think they take away a lot of important time that the students could dedicate and invest in their academics. So hopefully with your help at home monitoring the play time, students will limit and you will limit that time so your kids can spend more time studying, reviewing, going for tutoring, visiting EDIDO, and doing what they need to do to have a successful first year in high school. Next, Mr. Bencomo, please. Okay, so this year, 9th grade, please get the best possible grades. So next year, you qualify to take AP and honors classes. Mr. Bencomo will cover this part later in the presentation, but please, high GPAs, grades of A's and B's in challenging courses are a great recipe to be accepted to the school of your dreams. So hopefully you will be one of those students whose GPA is a 3.0 and better, and your grades are all A's and B's. But if you're not there yet, I'm happy that we are meeting now at the beginning of the school year because we can put things in place to support you. Next one, Mr. Bencomo, please. Grade point average. Mr. Bencomo is going to start talking about it, and the floor is all yours. In the meantime, dear parents and students, guardians, I am really grateful from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being with us today. It has been a pleasure. If you need me, you can contact me at alvarez@sgps.org, and I will be happy to assist you and especially assist your student. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Alvarez. So like Ms. Alvarez was saying, a lot of what she talked about were the different different techniques, the different, tricks students can use in order to put themselves in the best place possible in terms of their academics, because of the fact that a GPA is very important. Like she said, a GPA in middle school isn't as important necessarily, because sometimes they'll pass a student along if they receive a D or an F in a class, and allow them to move on to the next grade level. But like Ms. Alvarez said earlier, in high school, there's two things that hurt when you get a D or an F. One is that you wouldn't be able to move on to the next grade level if you receive an F, in the sense that if you get an F both semesters in Algebra 1, then you have to retake Algebra 1 before you can move on to geometry. So it hurts your high school academics. It also hurts your college academics as well, in the sense that a D or an F on a transcript is not accepted by a college in terms of receiving credit for that class. So if you get a D or an F in English, you're going to have to make that class up in order to qualify to apply to college. So it's extremely important to avoid Ds and Fs at all costs. Hopefully that's at a minimum. With this group, we're not looking at too many Ds and Fs. We do understand that sometimes things happen. There's a grade that slips, and the student will receive a D or an F, but the goal is to get as high of a GPA as possible, because it just opens up more doors in terms of what you're able to do when it comes to applying to schools. If you have a lower GPA, it's going to limit the type of schools that you can apply to. And when you limit the type of schools that you apply to, not only is it a fewer number of schools to apply to, but you're at the bottom of the chain, so to speak, in terms of the students that school wants to select to go to their university. So it's very important from 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade. Those are the 3 most important years. By the time you get to senior year, colleges look at your grades, but by that time it's already kind of too late. If all of a sudden you decided senior year, like, oh, I want to get my act together, I want to apply to these schools, but then you look back at your transcript from 9th, 10th, and 11th, and you have like C's and D's, or B's and C's, and it's not your best effort that you could have put forward. So Ms. Alvarez does an amazing job with the freshmen and sophomores, giving them those tools that they need to be successful. But 90% of what a student is going to do in terms of their transcript is going to come from the student themselves. If they're not putting in the effort, if they're not putting in the time, it's going to be reflected in their grades. And again, that hurts in high school because you're not going to be able to get those honors and AP classes that you might want to help try and bump your GPA. And it's also going to hurt because when it comes time to applying to that college and university, and we have a sit-down meeting your senior year, and this happens every single year with me. I'll sit with the senior. They'll say, I want to apply to school X, Y, and Z. Okay. I say, okay. We look at their transcript. We look at their GPA. They have like a 2.1 GPA, and they're not able to apply to those schools that they had their heart set on. So it's extremely important. Minimum GPA that you're looking at in terms of applying to schools, like if you're looking at UC schools, so like a UCLA, UC Santa Barbara, UC San Diego, UC Riverside, you need a minimum of a 3.0 to apply to any UC. So that, again, that sets the benchmark right there. Like that should be the very minimum that you shoot for is a 3.0. Obviously, just because you meet the minimum qualification, it doesn't mean that you're going to get accepted. So you need to try and increase that GPA as high as you can to make yourself more valuable to the schools that you're applying to. We move on to the next slide. So like I mentioned, freshman and sophomore years are extremely important. Again, not only because you want to get high school off to a good start, and you might be sitting there as a freshman or the parent of a freshman and thinking like, college is 4 years away. Like I can't think of that right now. We're just starting high school. I need to get adjusted to high school. And we understand that. We understand, for a lot of people, adjusting to high school is very different than the middle school experience that they might have had. But it is very, very important that your student gets off to a good start because that GPA is going to follow them through all 4 years. So they need to make sure that they get off, especially this first semester for the freshmen. For the sophomores, it's your third semester. You need to make sure that you're getting off to a good start, because it's going to set yourself up for success. It's going to allow you to qualify for APs and honors classes. And we have certain requirements in order to get into honors and AP classes. And it usually requires at least like a B plus, if not an A in most classes, to be able to qualify for those honors and AP. And again, those are beneficial for high school, but again, they're beneficial for college, because when a college looks at your transcript and sees the courses that you've taken throughout high school, they want to see that you were challenging yourself. They don't want to see what they call quote unquote easier classes. They want to see honors classes. They want to see AP classes. We have a dual enrollment program with Los Angeles Valley College, where our high school students are taking college level classes taught by LAVC professors, and they earn that college credit for taking that class. So all of that happens because of what students do their freshman and sophomore years to prove to us as the counseling department that they can handle the requirements and the workload of some of those more advanced classes. So again, it's very, very important that your student gets off to a good start, because it just opens so many more doors when it comes time to apply to schools and look at schools, the better that your student has done throughout high school. So like I mentioned, we do have certain requirements to get into those honors and AP classes, and even the dual enrollment classes with Los Angeles Valley College. They're known as our pathways. We will publish them hopefully soon. In the next couple of months, we'll publish them so that you have an idea of the requirements that you would need from this school year in order to qualify for an honors and AP class next school year. And again, the intention of that is so that the student knows exactly what they need to shoot for in a certain class, so that they're qualifying for those honors, APs, or dual enrollment classes come their sophomore or their junior year next year. So again, it's very, very important that you have an understanding of the pathways. And again, hopefully we get that out within the next month or so, so that you as a student, you as a parent can sit down and look at, okay, well, if I want to get into English honors or AP English, I know that I need to get a 97% in my college prep English class. And then you have that goal to shoot for in terms of your classes. Like I mentioned, it's very, very important to try and set up as challenging of a schedule as you can when it comes to applying to colleges. Colleges want to take students that have demonstrated that they can take advanced classes and be successful. It doesn't mean that every student has to go and take, 5 AP classes and 3 honors classes. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, at your level where you can achieve academically, you need to challenge yourself. So if that's taking 1 honors class, then that's taking 1 honors class. If that's taking all of college prep, but getting A's in all of your college prep classes, again, that's showing a college or university that you can be successful in the class that you're put in. Once you start slipping into the C's, hopefully no D's or F's, but definitely C's, then those are question marks definitely for colleges and universities. When they're looking at your application come senior year, they're going to wonder why you got a C in Algebra 1 your freshman year. They're going to wonder why you got a C in English 2 your sophomore year. Those are things that, again, they follow you all throughout your 4 years. And you may think, oh, well, it's freshman year, like it's no big deal. I can change it come sophomore, junior year. Before you know it, you're going to be a senior applying to schools. And it's going to be kind of heartbreaking. And it is every year. For certain seniors to look back at their transcript. And again, like I said, I have that conversation at least once or twice a year with a senior. And I have to be, frank with them and tell them, you know what, you have a 2.0 GPA, like you can't apply to a UC. Maybe you could get into a Cal State, but it severely limits a student in terms of their GPA. And when we look back at that student's transcript, their junior year might have been super strong. They had A's and B's their junior year, but then we look at freshman and sophomore year, straight C's or C's and D's. And that really messes up their chances in being able to get into schools when they're applying senior year. So again, I can't stress it enough how important it is for you to do what you need to do freshman and sophomore years to set yourself up for that success come junior, senior year. So that way you're applying with your best foot forward when you're applying to colleges. Honor roll is something that, you know, is an academic distinction that we give to our students. It's one of the things that we're most proud of. Every single year, we have a very long honor roll list, and that's because of the hard work that our students put in the classroom, outside the classroom with homework. And it's very, very important for our students to reach these honor rolls. Students get really competitive when it comes to the end of semesters, when it comes to their grades, making sure that they qualified for first honors, which is a 3.75 GPA or higher. Some of our students are above a 4.0, and you get above a 4.0 when you start taking those honors and AP classes because they carry an extra bump in your GPA. There's an extra point there with your GPA. So a lot of our students receive first honors. And again, it's something that we're super, super proud of here at St. Genevieve because it shows the hard work and dedication that our students have when it comes to their academics. Second honors, again, just you know, as an impressive thing to shoot for in terms of students. Second honors, your academic GPA is a 3.5 to a 3.74. Again, we have a lot of students qualified for second honors as well, but I think I'm sharing this with you parents. It would be better if, you know, we get more students in the first honors column than necessarily the second honors column. And again, once you receive first honors, like that's showing that all of your grades across the board are at a high level. And that's what we want to see in each of our students. So this is an example of a transcript. And you can see here the different classes. So the classes that have an H, those are honors classes. So they will carry an extra GPA point. So we see here at the top, this student received an A in English 1 honors for the first semester. Normally, when you think of like the grade point breakdown, an A is worth 4 points, a B is worth 3 points, a C 2, a D 1, and an F 0. But when you get honors in AP classes, it bumps it up a point. So an A is now worth 5, a B is worth 4, a C is worth 3, and then a D is still worth 1, and an F is still worth 0. But again, this is what allows this student in particular to be able to get a 4.29 for their first semester. So again, even though they got a B, they were still able to achieve over a 4.0 because that B is in an honors class and it carries that extra bump in the GPA. We will do for the freshman students specifically, we are going to be hosting 5 different sessions throughout the semester through their health classes in the morning. And we're going to be going in and meeting with those freshmen and going over a lot of these things. So like how to calculate your GPA. We're going to do like an introduction to college. Like how do you search for colleges? What should you be looking for when you look for colleges? So that's going to be happening throughout the semester with the freshmen. We have those 5 days designated to be able to help you with your college search. Sophomores, we're going to be working with you more on an individual basis. Miss Alvarez will be meeting with you and I'll be joining those meetings to talk about sort of how freshman year went and then where you're looking forward to for the rest of sophomore year, but more importantly, like what are some of the ideas that you have going forward in terms of college. So we will be meeting with your students throughout the school day. We're going to try and get through all the students in the first couple months of the school year. Again, that's a tall task. That's a lot of students to get through. But Ms. Alvarez and I, we definitely want to meet with each student, come up with a plan, have solutions to maybe grades that weren't so good, and how we could, try and improve those grades going forward and making sure that we're not making the same mistakes that we made previously. So again, setting high goals is extremely important, not only for high school, but again, you want to set yourself up for the best possible way come college applications, you want to make sure that you are presenting yourself as the most qualified person that's applying to that school. GPA is extremely, extremely important when it comes to college applications. So making sure that you are doing everything that you can, everything in your power to be successful in the classroom, because again, that grade will follow you all 4 years, and you want to make sure that it's a representation of who you are as a student, and it's not, representing that person who maybe slipped up. We want to be presenting our best selves when it comes to our GPA. Again, and that comes with hard work. It comes with a hard work ethic, holding yourselves, students, individually to a high standard. As much as we want to try and help you, whether it's a counselor, your parents, a guardian, grandparents, uncle, aunt, whatever it is, when it comes down to it, it's the student as the individual that has to make these decisions. We can only do so much as the people on the outside trying to help and try to motivate. But when it comes down to it, it comes down to the student and how hard they as an individual are going to be willing to work. And again, we as a counseling department are here to support in any way that we can. The teachers here at St. Genevieve do an amazing job with supporting our students. But again, we can't do the work for the student. The student has to take the initiative and put in the work on their end. There are definitely supports in place to help them, but they need to make sure that they're doing their part as well. And again, just not giving up. There are so many different supports here at St. Genevieve, whether it's the counselors, the teachers, friends of students, parents, whatever it might be. We're all in this together, like Ms. Alvarez says, team together, everyone achieves more. That's definitely the belief of the counseling department. We're here to help you. We're here to support you. But again, a lot of times the only way that we know that you need that support or that help is if you reach out to us. As amazing as Ms. Alvarez is, she can't read minds. So she's not going to be able to know, if a student is messing up in a class because they don't understand. That student is going to have to, in some way, whether it's emailing Ms. Alvarez, stopping by our office, and talking to Ms. Alvarez, myself, whoever it might be. But that communication needs to happen between the student and the parent, or the parent and the counselor, or the student and the counselor, or the student and the teacher, parent or teacher. The only way that we can understand that a student needs help is if they reach out and they ask for help. Again, we'll check in with students. We'll make sure that we're following up on our end. But a lot of times a student needs help, relatively immediately. And if we are on a different cycle in terms of checking in with students and we don't come to that student for another week, then that's a whole week of, a student not understanding. But if that student were to come forward and let us know that they need help right away, then we would make sure to make the adjustments to get that help to your student.
And even, reaching out to the teachers, if the students don't understand something, I think, as Mr. Bencomo said, we are here to support, but the first person they need to contact, and also parents, please, is the teacher. Because Mr. Bencomo and I, we don't know what's happening in each period, each day of the week, but teachers are teaching there and teachers are there with the students. So if the student has some type of difficulty, they need to reach out to the teacher. If your student is sharing with you, Mom, Dad, I don't understand this math problem, please reach out to the teacher, email the teacher. And I can assure you that that person, that teacher will get back to you and they will find ways to support your student.
And whenever you communicate with the teacher, like, you can feel free to CC, in this case for the freshman and sophomore, CC Miss Alvarez when you email that teacher. So just in case maybe it gets lost in the teacher's inbox, but if you CC Miss Alvarez on the email, then Miss Alvarez knows also to check in with that teacher to make sure that your student, is getting the help that they need in a certain class. And again, the more communication, the better. We definitely want to help your students be successful, but we need to make sure that we're also communicating that. And again, students, you're in high school now, so a lot of that is going to fall on you. You have to take the initiative and be able to reach out, whether it's to your teacher or to Miss Alvarez as your counselor. But that's definitely the first step is, starting that communication, And once that starts, trust me, it's going to be easier and easier to ask for help. Miss Alvarez, again, like I said, does an amazing job with our freshmen and sophomores in checking in with them, making sure they're on top of their grades, top of their assignments, and she will check in with them very often, actually. But it's good because a lot of the freshmen especially need that extra, the extra push. It may be the first time that they're not, in a single classroom in a middle school, but instead they have, 6, 7 different teachers that they're dealing with. And it takes time for adjustment. And again, we're here as a counseling department to help with that adjustment.
And now more than ever, as I said at the beginning, I need your support at home. I need you to form this partnership with us, with the school. And, I am in charge of 300 students and you're in charge of 1 student, maybe 2. So I would really appreciate your support, checking grades constantly. If you see something that is worrisome, that you have questions about, please do not hesitate to contact our teachers. Of course, CC me, I can do the follow-up, but please be aware that we are here to support and we are here to be partners in this journey. You as parents, us as a school, and we are certainly a team with one goal and one goal only, which is the student success. So I will really appreciate your support, checking those grades, accessing ARIES. And if you see something, please contact the teacher, CC me, and let's try to find and work together.
Okay, last thing really quickly, because I know it's 7 o'clock and I want to make sure to be respectful of your time. But the last thing on my side in terms of college is to be involved. I can't stress it enough, to be involved in any extracurricular activity. You don't have to play a sport. You don't have to play an instrument. You could join a club. You could do community service work. You can volunteer at your church. You can volunteer at a community center. There are many, many different opportunities out there. But the most important thing is to be involved in something that you're passionate about. If you're involved in something that you're passionate about, it'll be easier to be able to sustain that for all 4 years. When it comes to applying to colleges, colleges don't care if you're doing, 10 different things. They want to see that you're doing maybe 1 or 2 things, but that you stuck with it for a long period of time. So if that's playing a sport, so say you play volleyball, sticking with volleyball for all 4 years. If it's that you're in the band, that you're in the band for all 4 years. What colleges don't like to see is someone who didn't do anything for 3 years. They get to their senior year and then all of a sudden they're involved with 10 different things their senior year. That shows the college that, that student's not really dedicated when it comes to, being above and beyond the classroom, that student is, just focused. And it's not a bad thing that they're focused on their academics, but more and more colleges are starting to look at the well-roundedness of students. They don't want students who are just going to be, locked up in their dorm room studying, 24 hours a day. They want students who are going to be good academically. Yes, that is important. But they also want students who are going to be involved, who are going to join, clubs on their campus, who are going to be involved in different events on campus, because they want to create a vibrant atmosphere on their campus. And the only way to do that is to get students involved. So extracurricular activities, involvement in those is extremely, extremely important. And it's important to start that as a freshman, as a sophomore, and then continue and sustain that for the rest of the years of your high school career. And again, it is very, very important when it comes to college applications to have those extracurricular activities, to have community service on your applications, because it will set you apart from some of the other people that you're competing with as you're applying to colleges.
Thank you again. Thank you so much, parents, students, and guardians. I had a couple of parents on the chat requesting this presentation to be sent to you via email. We'll try to post this on the Edmodo page that Mr. Bencomo has for class of 2025 and class of 2024. And hopefully you have learned a little bit more tonight how to support your student and how to be our partners in this journey. Do you have any questions, anything that we might be able to assist you with at this time? No? Okay. Those are the Edmodo codes for the college resources.
If you didn't get a chance to get that Edmodo code at the beginning, those are them. Again, this is where I post a lot of information about colleges. Right after this meeting, I'll post up the presentation itself. And then either tomorrow or Friday, I'll post some links in terms of searching for colleges. I already have up there some information about some virtual college fairs that are happening within the next couple of weeks. And don't think that it's too early to start looking as a freshman or as a sophomore. It's never too early to get more information. The more information you get now, the easier it's going to make your decision come senior year when you're filling out applications and deciding where to apply. It'll be a lot easier if you put in more work freshman and sophomore year, and it'll make your decision a little bit more clear. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to hang on. If you don't have any questions, you can go ahead and you can jump off. Have a great evening. If you want to send us an email, please feel free to send us an email and we'll respond by email. But we'll stick around for a few more minutes in case anyone has any questions.
Thank you
I have
again.
a quick question, Ms. Alvarez.
Yes.
You said tutoring in the morning and after school. In the morning, what time is tutoring? I know the teachers have their morning and, you know, it's hard for them too. So what is the schedule for tutoring in the morning?
Probably the teachers already included that information on their syllabus. They always
Okay.
do. And sometimes, you know, just a matter of emailing the teacher just to confirm, because some teachers have supervision in the morning or after school. So just double check with the teacher through email, and I'm sure they will be able to assist you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Of course. Anybody else?
I have a question.
Mhm.
So I never received the email for the ARIES portal, so I don't know how to access that. I have been having trouble with that. And I'm since the beginning of the school year, I was having trouble even receiving emails.
Oh,
So I just recently updated the email at the school, but I still don't have access to the
Okay.
ARIES. So I've been struggling with that
sure.
one.
Send me an email tonight, tomorrow, and I will try to help you as soon as I can. It's just a
Okay.
matter of 10 minutes. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Of course, my pleasure. Any other questions?
Hi, I have a question.
Sure.
I think I sent it to you in the chat. It says if you could please explain like the pacing of the 8 to 9 semester classes, like what are the, will we get like a pacing overview, or like what are the advantages? How many hours of homework or assignments should the kids be getting? Or like how much should we expect, rather than just like finding out later? And lastly, are teachers working together on the spacing of their big tests or projects? Or do they just like, will there be like a huge test, like 2 huge tests on one day, or a bunch of projects due on the same day?
Well, it will be up to each department, but we try, each department tries to avoid that type of situation. Correct, Mr. Bencomo?
Yeah, and our teachers meet grade level as well. So like all the 9th grade teachers will meet and they'll go over, especially like as we get closer to the end of the semester when we have a lot of like big projects or big tests coming up, and they'll meet as a grade level team and they'll say like, okay, well, I'm assigning a test on this day, and they'll kind of work with each other to not overburden the students. Like on one day they have, you know, 4 big tests. They try and spread it out and make it a little bit, you know, more realistic for the students rather than just piling it on.
Right, okay, great, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you so much.
Other questions, like these are short ones, hopefully.
Oh, Miss Ponce, Miss
Garza? Contreras.
Oh, okay, Miss Contreras, yes.
So to what extent is Edmodo used? Is it school-wide? Are
Yeah.
we getting, so I should expect to get messages, let's say next week is, I don't know, like 12:30 dismissal or something? Should I expect those kinds of emails?
No,
No.
So
teachers post,
Edmodo would be used primarily by like the individual teachers. So that's where the teacher would announce like specific to their class. So if there's like a test coming up, they may post like the homework assignments there. They would post any like project directions or like rubrics for projects. That's primarily what Edmodo's for. It's for like each individual class. And it allows the teacher to post either an announcement or different material that the student might need for that particular class.
So is it okay to message the teachers on Edmodo rather than sending emails? I have 2 kids there and I'm balancing 60 teachers and I'm like terrible at email as it is.
I would say it's okay to message them on Edmodo. They may not be as quick to respond to Edmodo messages as email messages. I know it's kind of hard to balance 2 different loads in terms of your students, but you could always, message them on Edmodo, and if they don't respond, then maybe follow up with an email if it's something that's super important. Just because I know like teachers are posting stuff on Edmodo, but when it comes to communication, they primarily rely on email to communicate with parents.
yes,
Is Edmodo new to teachers as well?
No.
no,
Oh, okay. I had asked you about the 8 to 9 classes per semester. And like, I guess I can't wrap my head around like what the pacing is as far as, I guess like the IGETSI, is that, do they still call it that?
Yeah, so
And-
the IGETSI is that's more like the college level in the sense of like if a student is looking to transfer from a community college to like a 4-year institution, we do have like course pathways in the sense that like if your student is starting 9th grade, then there are like certain courses that they could meet as long as they meet their grades. So we do go over that information with the students. Miss Alvarez will go over like, okay, well, you're in honors English 9th grade. So if you achieve an A and an A both semesters, then, you can do honors English 10th grade year. So we do lay out a map in the sense of like, this is the way that you can go as long as you can achieve, these grades to meet the certain requirements.
Yeah, so me in like counting 8 classes per semester, like per year, it would seem like by the time they're in 12th, their core classes, everything except like maybe math, science, and maybe even history, like those would be the only classes left to take. So explain to me like what are you setting kids up for, like taking different types of classes or enrichment classes, or what
So
happens? Run out of class?
once they get to some do it sophomore year, but primarily junior and senior year, they get to pick elective classes. And those elective classes are more specific to whatever potential major that they might want to do in college. So if they're like more science based, they may take like an AP biology or a physiology honors or AP physics or AP environmental science, like something like that would be, if you're kind of thinking of going the science route, you would have to take those elective credit. You need elective credits to be able to meet the graduation requirement. And that's where those classes start fitting in, is more junior and senior year. Freshman and sophomore year are pretty regimented in terms of like the classes that you're taking. And you get a little bit more freedom to choose some classes your junior and senior year. In terms of like you were saying, the 8 classes a semester, we have an 8-period day. Our 8th period is our fitness class. That class is required for all 4 years. So technically like the academic day is a 7th period. And for a lot of our students, it's actually 6 periods because they have a study hall built in to give them that additional time to do their classwork or their homework. So it's about 6, usually it's about 6 academic classes per semester. and then they would sustain that for the 4 years while in high school.
So do you have like an internship? Do you have internship opportunities for them as well, like junior or senior year?
So not provided directly through the school, like we don't have anything that we provide like with a certain company, but we do provide opportunities for them to apply to different internship opportunities outside of school. And things have gotten they're a little different now because of the pandemic. We're not getting as many opportunities for internships just because companies aren't as open to bringing in, non-essential employees into their businesses, or we usually have one with Kaiser down the street. That's a big one that we usually have, but because of the pandemic, they've limited the people who can enter the hospital. So they actually have cut that program for now. Hopefully they're, if things get better, that they can bring it back and allow our students that opportunity.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes,
Appreciate
you're welcome.
All right, thank you very much. Anybody else? Okay, I think we're good, Mr. Bencomo.
All right, well, again, thank you everyone for joining. We'll post this presentation on Edmodo. And then again, just keep checking Edmodo periodically. I do post a lot of information on there when it comes to college and college search. If we're having colleges visit our campus or virtually visit our campus, I post that up there as well.
Please don't forget to watch the video tutorial in regards to ARIES so you can access your students' grades as soon as possible. And that will be really, really helpful. Again, thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful, blessed night. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.